All right, so inside zone. Inside zone for me is really the number one for us. And I'm going to spend most of the clinic talks on our inside zone play. I really believe in it. We've been really successful at the inside zone, and we're very simple how we teach it. We're very vertical and downhill with our inside zone. Why inside zone is our number one? It's a downhill physical run play. When people think of zone, sometimes they get a stigma in their mind that it's not a downhill physical run play. It is for us. It's great versus multiple fronts. So, a defense can line up almost, we've seen it all, and zone is really good against that. It's good against movement. When people try to slant and blitz and, all that type of stuff that defenses do, to disrupt the run game. When you're gap blocking, sometimes, you don't have the angles and you miss and on movement, when defensive linemen are stunning and twisting and things, I think zone really helps that. Simple covered and uncovered rules is how we teach it. And we always have an option element to it. It could be RPO. It could be the quarterback pulling and reading like a zone read. It could be a triple option look. It could be a min line look. But we keep it simple with our zone schemes. So we have covered, uncovered rules. So the offensive line is taught, those simple rules. What are my covered rules? And what's my covered technique? What is my uncovered technique? I've got it on here. You guys will be able to see it. Out stance, 6-inch directional lead step with play side foot is his covered technique. He's got a 3 technique or he's got a 5 technique. And that's what he's working. Opposite hand and foot to follow together, up the field number of the defender. Okay, and typically what we say is on inside zone is our inside hand to inside number. All right, never turn back. Always keep your body squared. Again, like I said, we want to go vertical. All right, and once we turn shoulders and get turned, that's when you get defenses split and double teams. Run throughs happen. All right, and then they can make a lock call. All right, if they're covered, they can make a lock call, and that tells the next guy over, hey, I'm locked. I got this guy. And do not let him cross your face if you make that lock call. Then you have your uncovered step. He takes more of a lateral step, may adjust the depth, depending on what you're seeing, if it's a backer coming or whatever, some type of movement. The first responsibility is the play side zone, is check your play side gap. And before you advance up. So we don't want them, if I'm uncovered, I don't have anyone in my gap, I don't want to go to linebacker right now, okay? Because somebody could slant across your face and get in your gap. You're responsible for that gap, all right? So he's going to take his normal step and before he works up to the backer. If nobody comes, great, get on up to the next level. And then he's going to listen for a tank call if you're uncovered. Because if he's uncovered and he gets a tank call, a tank will tell him that he's double teaming. He's helping his man next to him. And these are all our calls that we use up front. We'll make tank calls, which is a double team. Lock communicates that he's one-on-one. He's locked on his man. Buzz is really big when we play like odd front teams and people with a lot of movement. Buzz really tells everyone they're full zoning, no double teams, a little deeper step, and we're not double teaming, and it's true full zone scheme. We've used some town calls that we've used on the backside 3 technique where the guard will block out and the tackle will wrap up inside. I don't like to do that a lot, but we do have that option. Shark call. A shark call is when a tackle has a 4 technique or a 4-eye technique. All right, and he arcs that 4-eye, and that becomes a read, because typically when you have a 4 or 4-eye, he's coming that gap, He's really hard to cut off. And sometimes we will go ahead and cut him off. But by just going sharp and reading him, he works to the next level. 9 times out of 10, if you got 4 technique or 4-eye, and he's coming inside that gap, all right, someone else is coming on that outside C gap. So that's what a sharp call is. We may call a play something different. We may have a few different words for inside zone, all right, depending on if we have an RPO on, if we want the tackle to be locked on that in-man line of scrimmage. So, and that's more game planning type stuff that we can add to our inside zone. All right, so here's a look at our base, how we teach inside zone. These 2 guys are covered. Okay, so they are making a lock call here. If it's versus the even front, this is a over front. So they would lock the 3, lock the 5. All right, and they're zoning them. Don't let him cross your face. Working that inside hand really good. The center, okay, the center. The guard over here can make a tank call, and they can double here if he needs to. Okay, I know that's a little different for some, inside zone and the center's, taking a step with his left foot and double teaming to this backer, But if that nose is a really good player, he's a really good player, and our guard's having trouble getting there, all right, on his steps, all right, he can make a tank call right here, and we can double team this right here, okay? The tackle's just making his uncovered step, checking his gap, working to the wheel linebacker, and we'll read this guy with the quarterback. All right. The key with that is in reading the quarterbacks, and I've heard a lot of different ways be taught how to read. Is it the V of the neck? Do you read the DN's helmet or whatever? What I tell our quarterback is when we mesh the football, I want him making eye contact with the DN. All right. If the DN's looking at you, that means he's reading you. All right. Give the football. All right. He's got his eyes on you. He's checking you. If his eyes aren't on you, that means he's squeezing hard and coming down the line of scrimmage. Pull it and get what you can get. Also, what I think is big for this play and what makes this play successful is the depth of the back. All right. In 2010, we weren't very successful at running inside zone, and it drove me nuts. So I studied and I looked at things, and the more I watched film of us, all right, our back wasn't deep enough pre-snap. All right, he was getting the football, and all of this wasn't sorted out in time. All right, and he didn't get a clear picture of where he's going to hit the football. All right, where he's going to hit, where he's going to run. All right, so we backed him up to 7 yards. Our quarterback's at 5, all right, and the back is at 7. All right, sometimes we cheat him down to 6.5. We've played with that, but I do not want him even with the quarterback. All right, so we leave him at 7 yards, and a few things happen with that. He can hit it faster, full speed, all right, and it gives us time for the offensive line to kind of sort this out and give the running back a clear picture to where to hit it. His landmark is butt crack of the center. So he's going right down the middle of the center is his landmark, and then he's going to hit that thing, play side A, or he may cut it backside A to B. It has bounced. It has bounced to out here, or out here. But I don't like to teach it that way. All right, we want this inside zone to be vertical, downhill. All right, we've got plays for outside runs. All right, but I don't want these guys getting the football here and trying to bounce zone. That's what the defense wants you to do. All right, so his landmark is butt crack of the center. His depth is very important. All right, and they mesh the football. He's downhill. He's fast. And hitting his landmark at full speed. Quarterback's nice, good being in his elbow. And we work run tracks a lot. I don't want these guys reaching out to try to hand the ball off or handing it off from here. So we usually spread our arms out, and the running back spread his, and, even with the fingertips. And that's perfect, a good, consistent shelf that running back's getting the ball on, instead of being inconsistent of out here or in here. And, so we really work hard on that, making sure it's a consistent path and track that our quarterback puts our running back on. Here it is versus even front. This is under. Again, same thing we were looking at earlier with a double team here. Okay, so there it is with the tank. Now these guys will say tank 1. Okay, so what that tells him, hey, tank 1, tank 1. Tank 1 tells him he's got the number 1 backer in the box. Okay, tank 2 obviously is the number 2 guy in the box to the call. Now our fullback, all right, our fullback or U-back, his rule is always he's away from the call and he's arcing in the alley. All right, so he's arcing in the alley, peek inside, nothing shows. Get your eyes on safety or outside linebacker, whoever's out in the alley, playing the alley, being the force defender out there. All right, so quarterback pulls it. He's got a lead blocker with the utility back, fullback, whatever. Here it is versus a tank 2 look. These two guys make a tank 2 call, so now they're double teaming here to the backside backer. He's taking his coverage step, uncovered step to number 1 backer in the box. He's locked. Okay, so simple, same rules. Same rules for the back. Same rules for the quarterback. Odd stack. Okay, same thing. We're tank 1, tank 2. All right, and he's taking his uncovered step. Okay, he's got a 5 technique. All right, so he's taking his uncovered step, working to this. It could be a guy coming and trying to cross his face. If that happens, he's got to cut him off. All right, which is great. That means he's coming here. All right, and we get a nice double team here, and our back cuts it back over here. That's great. So he has to cut him off if he tries to cross his face. But that's why he's going to take his lateral step into his gap, working up to the number 3 linebacker in the box. All right, so that's versus odd stack. Odd stack here, just what I showed earlier, trying to cut off this guy coming inside. Now, this is if he doesn't make a shark call. And this is why we installed the shark call. If you see here, this is the inside zone with the shark call by the tackle. All right, so they're making their double team call, tank 2, and they're tanking here, tank 1. So they're working their stack, 2 for 2, 2 for 2, and then how do we handle this stack? If he's a head up 4 or 4-eye, this tackle makes a shark call. He just arcs this guy. All right, and now we're reading this defensive end. We're reading that end man line of scrimmage, and it turns into almost like a midline look, okay, which was a really good play for us. I got a lot of good cut-ups of this, okay. Odd stack, and they're always trying to add that extra hat from somewhere. They walk down a pony or outside backer, and we make a shark call. All right, we're tanking, double teaming here. We're double teaming here. All right, and this is our midline look off of it. They're meshing the zone, and this back is going behind up to the linebacker in the box. So it's traditional, old school midline with our zone scheme. And this is a look at a triple option look that we've done before too, where they're zoning, same things up front. And this is what I was talking about when I was talking about options. All right, the guy comes screaming down, the pony, the outside backer, and now he gets in pitch relationship. And now we're running triple off of our inside zone. And we even use our shark concept. Don't get the idea of that the shark concept is something that we only use versus odd teams. It's really good versus even teams as well. They get in a 4 or 4-eye. There's a reason for that. Someone else is playing this gap here, okay? And it maybe, they want to walk this wheel backer out, all right, and you got numbers that way. You shark it, he comes screaming down, now your quarterback's got a lead blocker. All right, or he may check quarterback And now you hand it off to great numbers in the box. So that's the shark concept. And then, obviously versus 3-4, you got to look at it a little differently. We've done all kinds of stuff versus 3-4 stuff. You got to kind of game plan for it. And you got to come up with a plan. Do I lock the box? Meaning, do I lock my backside in on that DN, my backside tackle? Do I lock him on the DN and just lock up 5-on-5 in the box? You can work your shark concept. You add tight end, make your buzz calls. This is where I talked about buzz call. This is where the buzz calls come in, and you can use your RPOs. There's a good look at a 3-4 where and typically the play side tackle makes the buzz call. Because he may have the tackle, he may have the end, 4. So that means he's coming inside. Well, go ahead and make the buzz call, and then we take our uncovered step here, and we can block this guy coming inside, and then he's checking his gap and he's on up. Somebody's coming. They're going to add a hat somewhere, and then you can use your shark call backside, and these guys are full zoning. All right. So that's what it kind of looks like versus 3-4. You can run your midline look off of it with your fullback just like that. They've got the buzz call here. He's making the shark call here. All right, and we're reading the 4 technique. Okay? Nothing changes for the quarterback. Nothing really changes for the running back. Still our inside zone. And a lot of people are getting into this thing where they like to double pinch. Okay, they like to try to get into a bear look to stop zone. Right. All right. Well, that's great. You just full zone it, and you're fine. You can handle it. With all that movement, you full zone it, and you make your shark call backside, and you got it taken care of. Running into a slant, like I said earlier, you make your buzz call. It helps you with slants and movements. Also versus a 3-4, we like to add a tight end, and this is where it goes to going in ball games with multiple personnel groupings. Add a tight end, make them account for an extra gap. All right, and this look right here, we're running inside zone with a tight end. All right, and he's making the buzz call. I do keep the rules simple for our tight end. All right, I don't typically try to zone away from him, so he has to work his steps and things like that. But we typically try to run zone to the tight end. There's another look of adding the tight end, how it can help you. All right, so we'll get to some film here. Okay. This is an inside zone. As you can see, look at our back's depth. Okay, our back's depth's there, and you got to do some things to protect that. All right, and you got to be consistent with your outside runs and how he moves up on pass protection. But that's where we like him to be for our inside zone and majority of our run game. All right, so in this play, our tackle ends up locking here, and we're leading inside with the fullback. But it's our inside zone. Does a nice job staying on his landmark. You'll be able to see a little better with the end zone shot. See how his landmark. These two are working the double team to the number 1 guy in the box. We're locked front side, locked back side, and he gives a good. See how he's hitting it full speed, and he's putting that foot in the ground and cutting back right now. That's what we want on our inside zone. Here's a look at inside zone with two fullbacks. And I know a lot of people are talking about duo and how duo is a new play out. And this is basically duo. It's inside zone to me for us. Here's another look at our inside zone. This is versus a 3-3 stack. All right, so these two are working these two. These two working here. And then he's going to sift through to here. Okay? He could make a shark call. All right, but he just sifts through, and our fullback is kicking out over here. So this is a nice look at us working an odd front. See the back's landmark? It's pushing hard that landmark. This backer tries to scrape over the top. All right, and these guys are working this double team great, because he's trying to slant inside and he's coming this gap, and we cut the football right where it needs to go in backside A here. Ends up being a really nice play for us. Here's a look at it with our fullback in the game. Here's another clip of us working versus an even front. And this is what I mean by not bouncing, just hitting your landmark full speed and being able to pop out the back end like this. And we tell our backs, be really patient, hit your landmark full speed, and we train their eyes for it, And in this series, I'll be sharing a lot of drills and things with you guys, and I can show you. People say, well, you can't drill vision. I believe you can. I think, obviously the kid has to have some natural talent to run the football and have some ability, but I do believe you can train vision, and so we do things like pop-up bags, and we move them and during our run track segments and things. So we really do try to train vision. Right here we dress it up with some motion. This is an overset. We use some where we just getting dog, we're dog right, all right, or dog left and over. So you can get in some oversets. Same thing versus an odd front. He kind of, sifted through that backside gap. Here's another look at that same play. It's a good way to handle them trying to add a hat to the box in their odd stack. So we just added a hat here. Same thing here. We've added a tight end, a fullback to give us an extra blocker, full zoning. Here's a good look at a 3-4. Okay, you'll be able to see a little bit better on the end zone shot. But us using the shark call. All right, so we've got a tight end. We've added the tight end. We got two backs. All right. So we make a buzz call. These guys are full zoning. He's going to shark call to this, and this guy's going to be our read key. Because sometimes it's just hard to get through and cut off a 4 or a 4-eye or a 3 technique. So we'll make a shark call and just read him. Same thing here. I think this is a clip of the quarterback pulling and running, and that's the beauty of the shark call. You get your numbers the way you want them in the box. All right, and you'll see here we're 3-4, so we're full zoning to the right. We're making a shark call here, and this is our read key. Okay. It's a big gain for us with the quarterback run. Here's an example of him bouncing the ball out. We typically don't want that, but sometimes that happens. They tried to bounce in, condense into the box, and our guy made a cut and bounced it and did a good job. Same thing, inside zone versus an odd stack, you know. And so these two guys right here are working to 1. These two guys are working to 2, all right? And then he's working through this gap. Can make a shark call if he feels the need to. So, you know, inside zone for us is a downhill, physical run play. You know, watch our player here. This is from 2015. Look how fast and hard he's hitting this in the gap. And that's what we want. We want physical, punishing, downhill run plays on our zone schemes. And here's a look of the shark call. So that's our inside zone.